Pace University's commencement ceremony is about to begin. Please join me in welcoming the members of the New York City Police Department Pipe Band. Now, Pace University's commencement ceremony is about to begin. Please join me in welcoming the members of the New York City Police Department Pipe Band. Presenting the United States and State of New York flags are Pace University student veterans. And now, the moment we have all been waiting for. The processional will now begin, led by the Grand Marshal, Dr. Marie Trulio Londrigan. Please join me in welcoming the graduates of Pace University, class of 2014. Led by their college banner, the College of Health Professions. Led by their school banner, the Seidenberg School of Computer Science and Information Systems. Led by their school banner, the School of Education. led by their college banner, the Dyson College of Arts and Sciences. led by their school banner, the Lubin School of Business. Let us welcome Pace University alumni. Let us welcome the College of Health Professions, Associate and Assistant Deans and faculty, led by their Faculty Marshal, Dr. Martha Greenberg. Seidenberg School of Computer Science and Information Systems, Associate and Assistant Deans and faculty, led by their Faculty Marshal, Dr. Pauline Mosley. School of Education, Associate and Assistant Deans and faculty, led by their Faculty Marshal, Xiaolei Wang. Dyson College of Arts and Sciences, Associate and Assistant Deans and faculty, led by their Faculty Marshal, Professor Margaret Fitzgerald. Lubin School of Business, Associate and Assistant Deans, led by their Faculty Marshal, Dr. Kevin Wynn. Dean for Students. Executive, University, and Campus Directors. University Deans. Officers of the University, Trustees, honored guests, Provost of the University, Dr. Uday Sukatmi, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Mark M. Beska, President of the University, Stephen J. Friedman. Please welcome Dr. Uday Sukatmi, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs.
Good morning, everyone. Please be seated. And welcome to the 2014 commencement at Pace University. On behalf of the entire Pace community, I extend my sincere congratulations to our graduates on this happy occasion as you join nearly 136,000 Pace alumni throughout the world. Indeed, we have a number of alumni in attendance today, the Golden Jubilarians that are celebrating either their 50th, 55th, or 60th anniversary after graduating from Pace. And I want to take this opportunity to ask them to stand and to recognize their presence and to congratulate them on reaching this momentous milestone. And among today's graduates, we have 87 U.S. veterans. These veteran students are distinguished by a red, white, and blue honor cord, and this is a good time to express our appreciation for the sacrifices they have made. It's a pleasure to acknowledge the families and friends present here today. Your love and encouragement has made it possible for our accomplished graduates to achieve their goals. I also want to acknowledge and thank the PACE faculty. Many of them are here today. Your devotion and insights have provided a thoughtful environment for effective teaching and learning. And now I have a short message to the graduates, something you might profitably remember and retain. Most graduation day messages are quickly forgotten, so I figured that a short physics message would be something memorable. I'm told that next to coffee, there is nothing like a physics lecture to perk up a morning audience. PACE graduates, you are a very talented bunch and have great potential. And the word potential triggers my remarks today. It's a very common word for a professor of physics like me, so let's talk about potential energy in the context of classical mechanics. In introductory physics courses, all of us learn, or should have learned, that an object possesses potential energy by virtue of its position, and it possesses kinetic energy by virtue of its motion. For example, if a ball is held above the ground, it has a certain amount of potential energy, and lifting the ball higher requires work, and it increases the amount of potential energy. Another system with potential energy is a compressed spring. One has to make an effort and do work in order to lift a ball or to compress a spring. And it is this work you do which is stored in the system and called potential energy. Potential energy can be transformed into other forms of energy. For example, when a ball held above the ground is let go, it falls, and in so doing, its potential energy is transformed into the energy of motion, kinetic energy. This can be used profitably. For example, water falling from a height, say down Niagara Falls, has kinetic energy when it hits the bottom. This can rotate a turbine, this can generate electricity, and this is what we all use in our homes. The point is, if an object has potential energy, this can be converted into useful consequences. But remember, this is only possible because work was done initially to raise the object above the ground or to compress the spring. You get back what you put in. You're probably getting the drift of what I'm saying now. The hard work which all of you put into your studies is analogous to lifting an object to a certain height. On the way, you probably had to overcome many obstacles. Some of you had to work part-time to pay for your education or develop the willpower to watch less television and movies. But now you have reached a high level of achievement. You have a wealth of stored potential energy, the ability and capability to do useful work. A PACE education has certainly helped develop your analytic skills, your communication repertoire, and your technology comfort level to adapt you to a rapidly changing world. Your education gives you the potential to earn money when you enter the job market, the potential to make discoveries if you decide to go on to graduate school, the potential to help people if you decide to pursue medicine or social work or law. There are endless possibilities, and at this time, you got education, you got potential. Who could ask for anything more? PACE graduates, go show the world what you are made of. Thank you for your attention. And at this time, let us all rise for the national anthem, which will be sung by Stacy Amber Wells. Stacy is from the Dyson College of Arts and Sciences. After the anthem, please remain standing for the invocation, which will be given by Reverend Barbara Ann Porchedu, Interfaith Minister and a member of the Board of Trustees of Pace University. The National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, everyone. Graduation Day, what a joyful, hopeful day. Many of us on this podium are PACE graduates, and I was standing where you are 40 years ago today. So let us center for a moment and acknowledge and invoke the power and intention of the divine presence with us here today. We present ourselves with a thankful heart, thankful for Pace University, its administration and board, and that it was here for us. Bless Pace in its mission. We are thankful for the faculty and all they have taught us. We give thanks for our family and friends and the support they have given us. Bless them all. In the scriptures we are told, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? Who will go? Then I said, here I am, send me. We are thankful for the highest within ourselves that answered that call. So here we are, the class of 2014. Send us. We have prepared ourselves and we are ready. Bless us as we go. A sacred directive tells us, make a joyful noise unto the Lord. So let us make our presence known. Can I hear an hallelujah? Hallelujah. Louder. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So be it. Amen.
I request Pace University President Stephen J. Friedman, Chairman of the Board of Trustees Mark Beska, and Dr. Dorothea von Huhn Greenberg to come to the podium to assist with the conferral of the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters upon Lawrence Otis Graham, Esquire.
Lawrence Otis Graham, Esquire, practices the most honest brand of social commentary, holding a mirror up to race relations in order to expose both its strengths and weaknesses from every possible perspective. As a testament to his skill, his work is equally respected and dissected by the people in his mirror's reflection. Mr. Graham is a lawyer, television commentator, and New York Times best-selling author. His eye-opening commentary, however, comes from his undercover roles that give him access to closely guarded worlds where honesty only sees the light of day when that world's occupants believe that no one is watching. In an article published in New York Magazine and later reprinted in one of his 14 books, a member of the club, Reflections on Life in a Racially Polarized World, Mr. Graham traded in his life as an upper-middle-class African-American lawyer to work undercover as a waiter in an all-white country club. Writing about his interviews and waiting tables at the club, Mr. Graham showed that racism is alive and well in America among people who would argue otherwise. For his essay, Our Harlem on My Mind, Mr. Graham rented an apartment in Harlem, got a haircut, and dressed like other neighborhood men his age. Then he began pounding Harlem's pavement to demonstrate that outward appearance and racial stereotypes determine a person's job prospects. When Mr. Graham wrote his New York Times bestseller, Our Kind of People, Inside America's Black Upper Class, he held his mirror up to America's black elite. He shared who's in and who's out among the group. Once again, his work was equally respected and dissected. He noted, some people were upset because they felt that a discussion of class was not a discussion Black people should be having. But there are class structures in every race and ethnicity. Other people were upset that their families were not included in the book. While Mr. Graham continues to write on race and integration, he remains a well-respected and accomplished attorney. Today, he is special counsel at Cuddy and Fader, where he practices real estate and land use law. He is a commentator on News 12 TV and has served as an adjunct professor at Fordham University and at Dutchess Community College, where he taught American government. Mr. Graham serves on the board of Purchase College Foundation, the board of overseers at the University of Pennsylvania, and the board of the Horace Mann School, where he chairs the annual fund and the Academic Affairs Committee. He is on the board of Westchester County Association and the American Theater Wing, which founded the Tony Awards. Mr. Graham is also chairman of the Westchester County Police Board. He earned his BA at Princeton University and his Juris Doctor at Harvard Law. For his contributions to education, awareness, and society, Pace University proudly confers upon Mr. Lawrence Otis Graham, Esquire, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
As authorized by the Board of Trustees of Pace University, I confer upon you, Lawrence Otis Graham, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank all of you. And I want to also, before I speak directly to the graduates, I want to thank Dr. Von Hune Greenberg for that wonderful introduction and for her years of service. I believe it's 40 years of service here at Pace University, and I, for many years, have followed her career and the writings that she has and research that she's performed on women, on race, and on the abolitionist movement right here in Westchester County. So you and Stan, your husband, are a gift to the Pace community. So thank you. Thank you, Dorothy. Now, to the graduates of the class of 2014, to faculty, to family and friends and relatives, to faculty and administrators, President Friedman, trustees, thank you so much for this honor of being able to join you at this commencement of the class of 2014. I know that it's the 108th year, of the founding of Pace University, but I also know from the pins that we are wearing and from the beautiful flags on campus that this is also the 50th anniversary of this campus. So congratulations to you on that. As a lifelong Westchester resident, I've had the opportunity to visit your campus many times, and to be here today in this beautiful Goldstein Fitness Center, and to be able to walk along the bucolic 200 acres here on your campus and to see these state-of-the-art facilities, to see historic buildings like Choate House. I had the chance to sit at your Garden of Remembrance where you, as a university, acknowledge the many students and alumni who died on September 11th. And you have a magnificent campus here. It's a jewel here in New York. And there are very few places, very few schools that you can find facilities like this right across from the sheep and the goats in the pasture across the way. A few days ago, I got to meet two of the handsome, friendly border collies that keep them corralled, and got to also see the falcon that you have here on campus. And with all of this beauty that we have right here, many of us can become very comfortable, very satisfied with our surroundings. And so the message that I want to share with you this afternoon is to try to inspire you and to tell you what I hope you may take upon as a responsibility for yourself. Several years ago, 50 years ago in fact, President Lyndon Johnson, asked people to join him in a war. The war that he was asking Americans to join him in was a war on poverty, to fight poverty, because he recognized that looking around the United States at that time, it was post-World War II, people had jobs, people were getting education, they were moving into homes in the suburbs, and that many people were very comfortable, very satisfied. But at the same time, there was another community of people all around this country, millions of them, who faced poverty, who faced unequal education, unequal ability to get jobs, and this disparity was very apparent to him. So today, there's a war that I would like you to join me in as you leave this campus. And it's a war that I feel becomes even more urgent when we hear people like Donald Sterling of the Los Angeles Clippers spout hate about a group of people that he despises. It's important when we still hear of a police chief in a small town, Wolfboro, New Hampshire, refer to the president repeatedly by using the N-word. We still hear about a woman being fired from New York's greatest newspaper because she allegedly asked why she was paid less than her male predecessors. We still hear about florists who say they should not be forced to provide flowers for weddings performed for gay and lesbian couples. We still hear about landlords who won't rent to people because of a, quote, foreign accent that they hear being used by the people that are trying to rent. We still hear about the clubs who don't allow Jews, the boss who doesn't like Irish but likes Italians, or the boss who likes Italians who doesn't but still likes Irish. And the war I want you to help me fight is a war on bigotry. It's not the blatant form of bigotry like the burning cross or the painted swastika that I'm talking about. It's a form of bigotry that I refer to as passive bigotry. Many times it's practiced by people who put on a suit every morning. They consider themselves to be well-educated. They're held in high esteem in their communities. They hold respectable jobs. Some of them are our neighbors, our coworkers, and unfortunately some of them can even be our family members. If you ask me why a war on bigotry, I'll answer to you because my answer is that it's still one of the most divisive issues in our country, and so much of it is rooted on fear. And that's why education is so important, to level the playing field so that people understand that they should not and cannot be afraid of people that are different from themselves. And it starts very early. Let me give you a question I want you to consider. When was the first time you can ever recall recognizing bigotry being practiced against you or against someone else? How old were you? Were you 18, 12, 9 years old? Try to think about that first time. I remember when I first saw it, I was around 5 years old, and I've shared this story with some of my friends here at Pace. And my parents at that time, this is in the late 1960s, were looking for a home in Westchester and Scarsdale in the south end of White Plains. And at that time, brokers did not show homes to African American families. And of course, back then, I think we were either black or Negro. But they didn't show families, black families, homes in white neighborhoods. So my parents realized that they would have to find a house advertised in the classified section of the New York Times. So my mom and dad contacted real estate brokers, showed them the areas, the neighborhoods they wanted. Brokers wouldn't show them. They said there are no houses for sale in any of those neighborhoods, on any of those streets. So finally, my parents, one Sunday, found a classified ad in the New York Times that showed a house that they were interested in. My father called the owner. He said he was an ophthalmologist, an eye surgeon, and said that we could certainly come over and see the house. My parents and my brother and my brother was 7, I was 5 years old. We drove to the house and got there about 40 minutes later. My parents rang the doorbell, and the owner answered the door, and he said, "How can I help you?" And my father said, "Well, I'm Mr. Graham, and I spoke to you on the phone about a half an hour ago." And he said, "You're the Mr. Graham on the telephone?" And my dad said, "Yes." And the owner said, "Well, you'll have to excuse me just a second." He closed the door, and we stood on the porch for what felt like 2 or 3 minutes. Then suddenly the door opened again, and through the screen door, the owner said, "Well, I'm so sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Graham, but there was actually a mistake in the newspaper. The house price is actually considerably more than what you saw in the newspaper." So my parents looked at each other. My mother asked, "Well, how much higher than the price in the paper?" And he said, and this is 1967, he said the price said $45,000, but it's actually $55,000. And today, as you young people sit here, you're thinking that's not a lot of money, but in today's dollars, that's basically changing a house price from around $600,000 to $720,000. And so even here in Westchester, where prices are high, it's rare to find a house price change by 20% within 2 minutes. But as we stood there, my parents were not intimidated by this because they had grown up in the segregated South in Memphis, Tennessee, and they had seen far worse than this passive bigotry that took place. So my dad said, "Well, that's okay. Well, give us a tour of the house and we'll let you know if we're interested." So with that, the doctor opened the front door. We came in and sat down on the couch, and the husband and wife excused themselves again. And they left us in the living room sitting alone, and then they came back, and the wife stood over near the piano, and the husband stood up in front of us as we sat on the couch, and he said, "You know, we feel very uncomfortable selling the house to you, Mr. and Mrs. Graham, and let me tell you why. And he said, and my wife, though, she's kind of convinced me that maybe we should go ahead with it. And I'll tell you why. And my father said, well, I really don't care why. Give us a tour, we'll let you know if we want to buy it. He was a real pragmatist. My mother, though, liked to understand people's motivations, so she said, well, I'm actually curious, why are you uncomfortable, but yet why are you still willing to go ahead and sell it to us? And he said, well, my wife and I, and he gestured to his wife over the piano, we are a mixed couple. And although I was only 5 years old, mixed in my mind meant black and white. And I looked at this white man and this white woman and didn't understand it. And he said, my wife is Jewish and I'm not. And he said, and because of that, our neighbors have really treated us terribly. And then he said, but you know what? We could really teach them a lesson by selling the house to you. So I didn't, as I said, I was 5 years old, so I didn't understand what was going on here at all, because surely my parents did not laugh. But we took a tour of the house, got in the car, and our way back to the house that we then lived in, my parents explained to us that we were going to be the revenge on the neighbors. Because I guess in some Archie Bunker-esque, and I'm dating myself here, all in the family fans, in some 1960s, 70s way, skewed way, the best possible revenge on a neighborhood of white neighbors who treated them badly was to sell to a black family. So that was my introduction to the whole notion of passive bigotry. But I tell you this story because this is the type of bigotry that many of you have and will continue to face as you go out into the world. It's not always going to be someone who tells you to your face when you walk in the door for an employer who might have been excited about you on the phone or excited about you when they saw your resume, but then you walk in the door and suddenly their opinion about your future has completely changed. I remember how early many of us, some of you may have even addressed this, but I remember another instance of passive bigotry, and I wrote about this in the New York Times in an op-ed a few years ago. How early this begins even among children. It doesn't require for us to wait until you are college age. I think back to my elementary school cafeteria, and I remember in this diverse, integrated school district, and many of you may have experienced the same thing. In the classrooms, students were mixed, but by the time we got to the lunchroom, everybody knew where they were supposed to sit. I remember it very clearly, and I can walk back to my elementary school cafeteria today and tell you that was the black table, that was the Jewish girls' table, that was the Irish boys' table, that was the Italian boys' table. They didn't have enough Italian boys, so sometimes they'd let the Irish boys sit there. And then there was the people on the outside who felt, how do I deal with this? I was one of them. So what did I do? I begged my parents for me to walk home for lunch every day because I didn't know how to maneuver. And what's so tragic about this is not so much that kids felt that they had to sit with their own kind at 11 years old, but that none of us had the permission to even challenge it or to do anything different from what was already taking place. So when I talk to you about joining me in this war against passive bigotry, it's not just for us as yourselves, as young adults, but also for the young people in the audience, for the older people in the audience, that this war is something that I think is extremely important. I didn't have the courage to fight it when I was in high school or college or law school, and it wasn't until I was practicing law full-time basis in Manhattan at a very large law firm when I decided I wanted to address this. I was working on a book called The Best Companies for Minorities and Women, and my goal was to go out there and find high-ranking people of color and women and find out for them, are there still barriers for them in the corporate world? And consistently they would tell me, yes, there still are barriers. We can't network with other people. And I said, well, where would you network? And as Professor von Huhn-Greenberg mentioned, country clubs. So I said, well, why don't you join a country club? You make a lot of money, you've got these great jobs. And they told us they're still closed. These were clubs that didn't allow Hispanics, didn't allow women, didn't allow Jews, didn't allow Asians, didn't allow African Americans, and in some cases also didn't allow Italians and Greeks. So, and this is not in the 1950s or the 1960s. This was when you were in elementary school. in neighboring Connecticut. This story could be told any part of this country, even today. So that's when I decided to go to war, and what my plan was to do the next logical thing, leave my law firm and go undercover as a waiter at a country club in Connecticut. And what I did is something that you should never do. I lied about my resume. President Friedman, don't tell anybody I ever said that. I created a fictional resume because my goal was to get a job at one of these country clubs and find out, was it still true in the 1990s that people were making all these business deals, and also was it still true that they still discriminated against all of those people? So I came up with this fictional resume. I said that I had waited tables at 3 restaurants, that I was 23, I was actually 28. I said that I had gone to college for 2 years. I didn't want to tell them I had a law degree because then they'd say, well, why are you trying to work as a waiter at our club? So with that fictional resume, I contacted clubs that advertised in the Greenwich newspaper. Do all of you generally know where Greenwich is? It's not that far from here. Greenwich, Connecticut, and it's a lovely town. I have many friends there. It's not an indictment of that town because I said that this story could have happened anywhere. But they happen to have 8 country clubs in that town, just half an hour from here. At the first country club, over the phone, I gave my resume. I spoke to a maitre d'. Her name was Dora. She said, Lawrence, you sound like a great candidate. Come over to the club. We can hire you. We have 8 positions open as waiter. I got to the club about a half an hour later, dressed in a blue blazer and khakis, and I walked up to the receptionist, and she looked me up and down, and I said, she said, how can I help you? Clearly throwing shade, I could tell that. And I said, I'm here to talk to Dora. And she says, there's no Dora here. And I said, well, I spoke to a woman about half an hour ago who said her name was Dora. She said she's your maitre d'. We don't have a maitre d'. Now, this was the receptionist. This is not someone in charge of hiring. This was a receptionist. I said, well, you don't have a maitre d'. Well, I'm here to interview for one of your jobs. I saw it in the paper. She said, we don't have any jobs here. And so I thought, well, maybe I had the wrong club. So I looked in my backpack, and I took out the sheet of paper, and I said, isn't this your club? And I showed it to her, and she looked at it, and she says, no, you got the wrong club. So I thought, well, maybe I did. So I put it in my backpack, and I started to leave, and I saw a trophy case on the wall, which had the name of the club, which matched the name in the newspaper. So I said, excuse me, but I think you're wrong. This is your club, because there's the name in the paper, and there it is on the wall. And she stood up, and she said, if you don't leave right now, I'm calling security. So I had no choice. I started to leave, and as I was going out the front door, I was passed by a young white guy who must have been like 17, 18, who's wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And I couldn't hear the conversation because he was farther up in the lobby of the club. And I saw her go to a file cabinet and come back with 2 sheets of white paper and a pen, and he sat down at a desk next to hers and started writing. So I went back to her, and I said, I hate to be a pest, but you told me there are no jobs, and it looks like he's filling out a job application. So she stands up again. She's, okay already, I'll get you your application. So she goes to the file cabinet, gives me my application. I fill it out. I walk past her into the dining room. It was a Monday morning. There were no club members there, and I walked up to a waiter setting tables. And I said, do you have a maitre d' here? And he said, do you mean Dora? And I said, well, actually, yes. He said, she's in the kitchen. I found Dora in the kitchen. I said, I'm Lawrence Graham, and it was like a replay of what happened to my parents. She said, you were the guy from the telephone? I said, yes. She says, I'm sorry, I can't hire you. I said, well, have you filled all 8 of the jobs in the last hour? And she says, I just can't hire you. So I had this experience at 5 other clubs, and it wasn't until I got to the 6th club where they actually would interview me, and I had 2 callback interviews. I don't know what it's like, your experience in job hunting, but at my 3rd callback interview, the manager of the club said, Lawrence, the staff and the membership, we've discussed it here, and instead of giving you a job as a waiter, we'd like to offer you a job as a busboy. So I was like dropping it, you know, as the seconds passed, what my salary was going to be. So I said, well, there's a problem. I've never worked as a busboy. And of course, I'd never worked as a waiter either, because that was my fiction. And he said, take it or leave it. And the reason why I'm telling you this story is because once, it wasn't even the difficulty in getting the job, but once I got the job, I worked in 2 different dining rooms. One was called the men's grill room, the other was the mixed grill room. And all day, the first day, a lot of the workers and members were saying, Lawrence, are you going to be living in the monkey house? have you moved into the monkey house yet? So finally, I asked one of them, what is this monkey house all of you are asking me about? They said, well, it's the name of our dormitory where our workers lived. And what this member had been a member for about 30 years. He said, well, before the 1980s and 70s, all of our workers here were black. The cooks, the bartenders, everyone was black. And since the black workers all lived in that dormitory, we naturally called it the monkey house. And I said, I don't get it. And of course, I got it. But I was wondering, could he really be thinking this and repeating this, looking at me? And so he said, well, like I said, all of our workers before the 80s and the 70s were black, and they lived in that building, so we naturally called it the monkey house. So when I wrote about this in a cover story of New York Magazine, and it was their best-selling issue for 40 years, there were a lot of people that were furious and wrote in members of this particular club and other clubs, this particular club, and they said, we take exception at the way Mr. Graham mischaracterized our club. The monkey house happens to be a very nice building with large bathrooms, central air conditioning, wall-to-wall carpeting. And so they went on, and I did various TV shows. They would call in and said, you know, you're not giving us a fair shake. The people that live in the monkey house are treated very well. So for all of them, the whole point was just totally over their head. And that is the challenge when any of you are fighting against passive bigotry, because the very people that are practicing it honestly don't believe they're bigots, because they use the right code words, because they're held in high esteem, they're well educated, they're respected in their community. Sometimes these individuals might even be members of your own family, but it's incumbent upon us to challenge these individuals. Maybe it's Aunt Josephine who comes and visits on Thanksgiving and sits down at the Thanksgiving table and goes on about how she doesn't like Koreans, or doesn't like gays, or doesn't like Jews, or doesn't like Jamaicans, whatever the group is. The problem is that so many of us sit back quietly and we say, you know, that's just Aunt Josephine, she's a different generation. Or, it's Thanksgiving, I don't want to be a downer here. It's our responsibility to challenge this passive bigotry. Because for as many of us who sit there remaining silent, there are other people, mainly young people, that might be sitting at that table forming their first impressions about this very same group that Aunt Josephine or whoever the relative is criticizing. And they're taking it as fact and truth. And it's your and my and all of our responsibility to take on that challenge. Whether you decide to wage a war against bigotry of any type, anti-Semitism, sexism, homophobia, racism, any type of ethnic bigotry, stand up and do something. Be a revolutionary. With the incredible education that you've gotten here at Pace University, a school where 86% of your teachers have doctorates, a university that has incredible facilities and has worked so hard to bring you through this experience. You are armed to change the world. You are armed to speak out against all of the bigotry that exists. A few days ago, before I close, I want to share with you a speech that I heard Amy Gutman, who's a famous political scientist and the president of the University of Pennsylvania, she gave in talking about revolutionaries like Gloria Steinem or Dr. Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela, and she said, and I quote, "The real revolutionaries have not been armed with guns or bombs. They've been armed with irresistible ideas. And I might add, with courage. Pace has armed you well. Go out there and wage a war for all those who can't speak for themselves. Congratulations, class of 2014. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Graham. Pace's traditional focus on being a student-centered university has never been more important. The Keenan Award for Teaching Excellence recognizes the critical element of student engagement by saluting faculty who have consistently challenged and engaged students with innovative teaching methods that enhance their curricula and illuminate their disciplines. Will Dean Neil Braun from the Lubin School of Business and Cam Chan please join me at the podium? Professor Cam Chan joined PACE in 1997 and is a professor of accounting and Ernst & Young Scholar at the Lubin School of Business. He received his doctorate from the University of South Carolina with a major in accounting and a minor in finance. His teaching interests are in the areas of financial accounting and accounting theory. Professor Chan is also a strong researcher with many publications in premier research journals. His effective teaching has been frequently cited by students as one of the reasons for their successes in passing the CPA exam. I'm pleased to present the Keenan Award for Teaching Excellence to Professor Chan. Congratulations. The Teaching Excellence Award for Part-Time Faculty recognizes the critical role part-time faculty play in providing high-quality teaching to PACE students. Will Dean Andrea Spencer from the School of Education and Joan Cass please join me at the podium? Professor Joan Cass joined the School of Education at Pace University in 2008 as adjunct faculty and clinical supervisor. After her retirement from the White Plains Public Schools as the coordinator of the language program and the secondary ESOL program, she received her BA degree, magna cum laude, and Phi Beta Kappa from Mount Holyoke College, with a major in French and a minor in philosophy. Professor Cass received her MAT degree from the Harvard Graduate School of Education and her administrative certification from Pace University. Educational Leadership Program. Professor Cass is passionate about languages and cultures and the preparation of future teachers. She is dedicated to teaching for social justice and to getting to know and support each and every one of her students. This is the very first time that the Teaching Excellence Award for part-time faculty is being given, so special congratulations to Professor Joan Cass. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce Sasha Gay Ashley Scott. You have a big fan club. I think all of you know she's from the College of Arts and Sciences, and she will address the candidates.
President Friedman, trustees, honored guests, officers of administration, faculty, family and friends, and graduating class of 2014, welcome. My name is Sasha Gay Scott, and I am very excited to be standing here today as your 2014 commencement speaker. Today marks a milestone in our lives, one most of us never thought we would see. Our journey to graduation has been filled with tears, smiles, laughs, achievements, love, and friendships. We could have gone to any university, but I'm sure that the memories that we have made at Pace we wouldn't trade for anything in the world. I have been blessed to have worked with inspiring peer and staff mentors, and to find my other half, and to discover what true friendships mean. From orientation to the first day of classes, to group projects, to Common Hour, I could not have shared these moments with a better group of people. Pace University, for us, has been home away from home. Even though it is impossible for anyone to promise that the outside world will be easier because we're Pace graduates, I can guarantee that Pace has given us the tools to overcome whatever roadblocks or detours that we may face. We will never forget what we learned here, for as we went to classes and programs, we developed courage and a determined attitude. This is the reason why we are sitting here today. It will always make the difference between us and others in our different working environments. We will be the first ones up and the last ones to sleep because that is all we know. We will never give up because we know that giving up is not an option. If giving up were an option, I wouldn't be looking at your beautiful faces right now. So, let's not worry today about the future, but instead, let us be happy and be proud. I'm sure we all have family members that we'd like to thank, those who believed in us when we didn't have the strength to believe in ourselves. Without you, there would be no us. So be assured that the thousands of dollars you spend on us, or your co-signature on our loans, those endless hours you spent encouraging us, those days that we forgot to call or that we were too busy to answer your call, not to mention those crazy check-in days that wore you out for those of us who live on campus, all of this was not in vain. So, in closing, I would like to give a personal thank you to my aunt and my mother. Mommy, I did this for you. I would have given up if I didn't have you speaking strength and victory into my future. As Ralph Waldo Emerson stated, what lays behind us and what lays before us are tiny matters compared to what lays within us. So graduating class of 2014, pat yourself on the back because we did it.
Thank you, Sasha Gay. At this time, I request President Friedman and Chairman Mark Beska to please come forward and present the Trustees and Community Service Awards. They will be assisted by Dean Lisa Bardil Moscaritolo, Associate Vice President and Dean for Students.
Well, congratulations, everybody, as a start. The provost gave you a lecture on physics, but the board had a bit of a lecture on biology. Our students are so amazing. The question we ask is, when do you find time to sleep? And you will see shortly by these two award winners what I'm talking about. The Trustees Award is presented to the graduating student whose positive contributions to the university life and whose academic accomplishments exemplify the highest level of achievement attainable for an undergraduate. Mark Alexander Kotko, please come forward and receive your award. Okay, so here we go. Mark Alexander Kotko is receiving his Bachelor of Science degree from the Seidenberg School of Computer Science and Information Systems. The accomplishments of Mark Alexander Kotko come at a time when they are needed most. As cybersecurity concerns grow at an alarming rate, PACE is proud to foster the talent of an innovator in the information technology field. A Pforzheimer Honors College student, Mark has excelled in combining all of his studies, including information technology, computer security, networking, criminal justice, and law to support and advance the PACE community and the world at large. He has conducted a plethora of research projects ranging in topics from mobile app development and usability for assisting patients with dementia and Alzheimer's disease to the impact of virtual machines and cyber criminals in our justice system. His other research projects include understanding the issues of personal data in the European Union and the United States, PSA, take control of your personal data, information security, protecting our nation against cyber attacks, and more. His research has been recognized by many. Mark is the recipient of the coveted and prestigious National Science Foundation Scholarship for Service, the Undergraduate Library Research Award, and the Undergraduate Research Initiative Award. He has presented at the Long Island Systems Application and Technology Conference multiple times and has seen his work published in Transactions, the official journal of the Society of Fellows of Dyson College, of which he is a member. There's more. On campus, Mark has dedicated his time and talent to clubs and organizations like the Golden Key International Honor Society, Epsilon Phi Epsilon, the International Honor Society for Computing and Information Disciplines, the Alpha Chi National Honor Society, the High Technology Crime and Investigation Association, and more. He has also gained invaluable real-world skills off campus through internships with impressive companies. Mark has worked with IBM, the top corporate employer of PACE alumni, as a CIO student, intern in the IT Risk Architecture Department, and has also interned with Philips North America as a payment card industry analyst intern. This very university has also been fortunate enough to work with Mark, hiring him as an undergraduate student researcher and research assistant through a Verizon Thinkfinity grant. While he's accomplished all this and more during his time at PACE, it's certain that his high standard of excellence will continue beyond the walls of this university. Mark plans to continue studying information systems and become an information security auditor after graduation. For his remarkable talents and accomplishments, today we are proud to honor Mark Alexander Kotko with the 2014 Trustee Award. Wow. I think now you're getting a little feel for what I was talking about. Community Service Award is presented to the graduating student whose active contributions to the life of the university community and to the endeavors of our neighbors in the surrounding community most admirably embodied an appreciation for the value of social responsibility. Daniel R. Barakov, please come forward and receive your award. Daniel is receiving his Bachelor of Arts from the Dyson College of Arts and Sciences. Daniel Barakov has excelled in the classroom as a combined degree student in the Pforzheimer Honors College. He graduates from PACE with a Master's of Science in Counseling and has already completed his Bachelor of Arts in General Psychology. However, in addition to his academic performance, today we honor him for his dedication and service to the community. His helping hand has reached many in the PACE community, in the surrounding Pleasantville community, and beyond. Here on campus, Daniel has helped cultivate tomorrow's leaders and citizens for active participation in their communities, the nation, and beyond through his work with the Center for Community Action and Research at Dyson College. He has participated in the Successful Learning Center's Lunch Buddies program for young adults with developmental disabilities. He has planted flowers and trees for Earth Month, and he has participated in the Walk for World Water, carrying buckets of water across Pleasantville for 1 mile in solidarity with those around the world who are forced to do so to collect water for their families. Off campus, Daniel has demonstrated a passion for education. He has volunteered with Tutor Time, a child care and learning center, with the Rockland County Special Olympics, and with the Pleasantville Cottage School, a residential treatment child psychiatry clinic for emotionally troubled youth. Daniel has also dedicated his time building homework and school supply kits for children in South Africa. His commitment to community service has earned him a prestigious 2013 and 2014 Jefferson Award Bronze Medal known as the Nobel Prize for Public Service. For all his time and service helping others, Daniel has also maintained a standard of excellence in the classroom. He has been a teacher's assistant for 3 undergraduate psychology classes and has conducted research on the correlation between personality and job engagement. Daniel has represented the university at international conferences like the Golden Key South African Summit in Cape Town, South Africa, where he presented on civic engagement in the Golden Key International Honor Society. Daniel has also been an active member of the Lambda Sigma and Psi Chi Honor Societies. He will soon resume his studies at Hofstra University, where he has been accepted to the doctoral program in applied organizational psychology and hopes to become a licensed industrial psychologist and human resources director at a Fortune 500 company. But no matter how his plans be on pace, it's certain that his spirit of public service will be felt wherever he goes. It's for this reason that we honor Daniel Barakov with the 2014 Community Service Award. Congratulations.
Pace University President Stephen J. Friedman will now deliver his personal message.
Thank you. You know, it's cloudy outside, but this room is filled with sunshine. Yeah. It's filled with the sunshine of accomplishment and pride. So Chairman Beska, members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty, administration, and staff, families, friends, and most of all, the great graduating class of 2014, congratulations. You conquered your nerves, you showed how much you can achieve, and you all went through an amazing, truly amazing transformation. Just sit back for a moment and think about what a different person you were when you first walked through our doors 4 or 5 years ago. And to the parents of the class of 2014, congratulations to you too. You made it too. You know, one of the perks I have as president is that I am pretty much the first and the last words of advice you'll get as PACE students. I am, in fact, all that stands between you and your degrees. I remember welcoming you to PACE at convocation when you first arrived here. And I gave you some advice then about how to succeed in college and succeed in life. I'm sure you all wrote that down and read it almost every day before you went to class. But in case you didn't, let me reprise it just briefly. I said that you should work hard and seek mastery in what you are doing. That you should be brave and not be afraid to try new things, new people, new subjects, new geographies. And that you should ask for help when you need it. That was actually very good advice then, and it's still good advice. But I have to tell you that more is required for success in life. And among the most important things is the ability to deal with unpredictability. Unpredictability will be a much larger part of your life after you leave Pace University. There is no core curriculum in life, and there's no plan telling you what to do when you come back from winter break. In fact, you won't have a winter break. Unpredictability means you may not always know what you're going to do next. Unpredictability also means that the dreams you dream today will not be the dreams you dream tomorrow. It's a good thing that your dreams changed, in fact. If they didn't change, you would probably today be a bunch of aspiring Disney princesses and X-Men. Unpredictability means you have to follow your own curiosity. And the thing about curiosity is you actually never know where it's going to lead you. It was, in my case, a chance conversation and curiosity that caused me to turn from a long career in the law and in government to a path that led me to become Dean of Pace Law School and then president of this great university. That experience, that deanship, and the opportunity to lead this university have been the most exciting, the most satisfying, and the most challenging part of my whole life. It was unpredictability that led me down that path. And the career of Lawrence Otis Graham, our honorary degree recipient today, is a classic, absolutely classic example. A lawyer, an author, a journalist, a TV commentator. He has responded to the unpredictability that life brings with bravery and tremendous self-confidence. So fall in love with the journey rather than the goal. Love business more than you love the idea of becoming a senior vice president. Love acting more than you love the idea of winning an Oscar. Love systems design more than you love the idea of being the next Bill Gates. That's a tougher one, but do it. If you love the journey more than the goal, I promise you, the goal will take care of itself. John Lennon was talking about unpredictability when he famously said, "Life is what happens to us when we are busy making other plans." Don't be afraid of that unpredictability. Embrace it. Love it. There will be many times when life brings you to a fork in the road. One path will be seemingly safe but kind of unexciting. Another will be much riskier and potentially far more promising. At the fork, be brave. Look at the riskier alternative. Sometimes that is the right choice, and you are more capable than you will think at the time. Sometimes you should take the more uncertain fork in the road, have faith in yourself, have faith in your abilities, and if you have faith in yourself, you won't worry about how fast you're climbing the ladder in some company, how fast your classmates or your office mates are moving ahead. If you have faith in yourself, you will set a very big goal for yourself and recognize that the way to get there is a series of small steps sustained over time. If you talk to any successful person, they will tell you the same thing. It is a series of small steps over a period of years that sets you in the end irrevocably apart from your peers. The best way to get ahead is to be the best at what you are doing at the moment without worrying about where it's going to lead you. Always remember that you are never as good as you think you are when you succeed, and never, never as bad as you think you are when you fail, and you will fail from time to time. All of us do. Nobody succeeds all the time. When you fail, don't let it destroy your dreams. Pick yourself up and move on. Failure is just a way of pushing you to recognize the lessons from that experience and the fact that life always, always offers you other alternatives. The best thing you can do is make a decision and be right. The second best thing you can do is make a decision and be wrong and correct it immediately and move on. And absolutely the worst thing you can do is to fail to make a decision, fail to take a risk because you're afraid of not succeeding. No matter how many times you succeed or fail, please remain true to the values that brought you to Pace and brought you to excel here. Those values will be through life your internal GPS. Over the last 4 years, I've seen your determination, your grit, your innovativeness, your ability to collaborate. I've watched you compete against the best students from the top research universities in this country and win time and again. I've had a front row seat to your kindness, your honesty, your compassion, and your integrity. And I think your behavior during Hurricane Sandy was a stunning example of that. Those values taught you that success is not defined by who helped you, but who you helped. They taught you that success is not defined by what you wished for, but what you actually accomplished and why you wanted to accomplish it. And those values taught you that success does not come without family and friends playing a central role in your lives. So let those values continue to define who you are, how you live your life, and how you define success. Today, PACE shares you with the world, just as your family once shared you with PACE. Remember what you learned here, the people you met here, and the experiences that you had here. And always remember that your PACE family is as proud of you today as anyone else in this room. Return to PACE often. Take your place in the vast PACE network of thinking professionals who help future PACE students as you were once helped, through scholarships, through mentorship, and through friendship. Class of 2014, my warmest wishes go with you. I look forward to welcoming you back. Thank you.
Thank you, President Friedman. And now the main event, the conferral of degrees. I know there is a temptation to leave the auditorium and celebrate immediately after getting your degree. But out of respect for all the attendees today, I want to request all the graduates to stay in the auditorium until the end of the ceremony. Will Dr. Lisa Bardil-Moscaritolo and Dr. Mary Jo Russell O'Grady come forward to assist in the presentation of the scrolls? Deans Lisa and Mary Jo, along with a committee of staff and faculty headed by Assistant Vice President Sue Maxim, are responsible for today's arrangements at the graduation ceremony. Let's give them a round of applause. It is my pleasure to invite Dr. Harriet Feldman, Dean of the College of Health Professions, to please come forward to present the academic awards for her college and to introduce the candidates for graduation. Dean Feldman.
Thank you and congratulations to all. The Scholastic Achievement Award is presented to the student excelling in scholarship, effectiveness in class discussion, research, and general performance in a baccalaureate degree program. There are two nominees who are both being awarded this achievement, and that is Megan Mary McGinty, please rise, and Jamie Ringel. I have the pleasure of asking the faculty to please rise in presenting the degree candidates from the College of Health Professions. Serving as reader will be Dr. Karen Toby Hagenbeck, Assistant Professor and Program Director of the four-year program in the Lienhardt School of Nursing. I invite the following degree candidates to proceed to the stage to be introduced individually. Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Megan McGinty. Jamie Ringo. Elizabeth Sakira. Hannah Tide. Deborah Ann Mangicola. Christina Valdez. Jenna Wood. Alisa Naziraj. Chanel Claire. Lauren Alves. Jessica McCarthy. Monica Chung. Shalonda Jones. Shakira Rogers. Camille Bailey. Asai McLean. Mary Kate McShay. Carson Tippett. Kathleen Murphy. Melissa Aguilar. Maria Lemmy. Allison Wingett. Deirdre Emmerich. Marinus Legaspi. Janine Ashley Jacob. Chelsea Nunez. Sandra Vanessa Bereda. Christian Castellanos. Chantel Jagnan. Charlinda Boone. Nicole DeFusco. Jessica Paskowski. Samantha Narag. Desiree Morris. Kimberly Fadi. Nicole Muscio. Christiana Jalai. Antoinette Parage. Charlene Munoz. Jennifer Janis. Margaret Launen. Jacqueline Wiley. Ariel Winters. Rhiannon Casson. Kelly Datino. Amy O'Neill. Corrine Peloso. Martha Renteria. Andrew D'Alessio.
I invite Dr. Amar Gupta, Dean of the Seidenberg School of Computer Science and Information Systems, to please come forward and present the academic award for his school and introduce the candidates for graduation. Dean Gupta.
The Scholastic Achievement Award is presented to the student excelling in scholarship, effectiveness in class discussion, research, and general performance in a baccalaureate degree program. And this award goes to Peter Newborn. Will the faculty please rise in presenting the degree candidates from the Seidenberg School of Computer Science and Information Systems. Serving as reader will be Dr. Mary Courtney, Professor of Computer Science. Will all the degree candidates proceed to the stage and be introduced individually? Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Associate in Science, Pre-Baccalaureate Certificate.
Jeffrey Tessio. Yuri Goldstein. Christopher Yang. Christina Yamagata. Luke Bayback. Gary Stewart. Peter Neubauer. Emilio Feliciano. Christopher Sorenier. Gina Pittori. Brittany Christine Barstow. Matthew Olsner. Stephen Lavigna. Frank Cruz. Martin Zahiriev. Emil Zahiriev. Kai Smith. Douglas Pope. Mark Alexander Kauko.
I invite Dean Andrea Penny Spencer, Dean of the School of Education, to please come forward to present the academic award for her school and introduce the candidates for graduation.
The Scholastic Achievement Award is presented to the student excelling in scholarship, effectiveness in class discussion, research, and general performance in a baccalaureate program. We are proud to make this year's award to Elena B. Katz. Will the faculty please rise in presenting the degree candidates from the School of Education? Serving as reader will be Dr. Mary Rose McCarthy, Associate Professor. Will all the Bachelor of Arts degree candidates proceed to the stage and be introduced individually?
Desiree Chifani. Ranza Kumbarji. Lisa Gilbert. Thomas Vergona. Michelle Stack. Elena Katz. Kaylee Lehrer. Kristen DeRosa. Megan O'Connor. Angelina Scarangella. Charles Link. Antonia Buetti. Nicholas Targonsky. Agnes Marie Califano. Jennifer Grasso. Samantha Meadows. Caitlin Russo. Stephanie Gorgadakis. Hannah Lobicic. Joanna Galliano, Carla Ferrardi, Amelia Kaufman, Kaylee Dalrymple, Matthew Indick, Kessia Matthew, Sarah Ramsendor, Melissa Vero, Raven Gilbert, Kimberly Walker, Megan Nicole Hay, Jessica Joseph, Andrew Allen Fritsch, Derek Cambillo,
to present the academic awards for her college and introduce the candidates for graduation, I invite Dr. Neera Herman, Dean of the Dyson College of Arts and Sciences.
It gives me great pleasure to announce both the Scholastic Achievement Award, which is presented to the student excelling in scholarship, effectiveness in class discussion, research, and general performance in a baccalaureate degree program, and the Charles H. Dyson Award that's presented to an outstanding member of the Society of Fellows, both prestigious awards to Daniel N. Rubato, Dyson student. Congratulations, Daniel. Will the faculty of Dyson College please rise in presenting the degree candidates from the Dyson College of Arts and Sciences. Serving as readers will be Dr. Michelle Pulaski-Bailing, Associate Professor in the Department of Media and Communications and Visual Arts, and Dr. Joseph Ryan, Chair of the Department of Criminal Justice and Security. Will all the degree candidates and soon-to-be alumni and alumni of Dyson College and Pace University please rise and proceed to the stage to be introduced individually for the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Associate of Arts degrees in Dyson.
Here they come.
Daniel Robato. Stacy Amber Wells. Sasha Gay Scott. Christopher Alessandro. John J. Codella. Kelly Van Wart. Lisa Masillo. Ruben Caban Jr. Dominique Alexa DeMasi. May Reinert. Kim Pemberton.
Patrika Alice Cheston. Tamara Danielle Bonet. Marlene Martinez Sandoval. Wilma de los Santos. Christina Rinaldi. Ian Wotskis. Rachel McMahon. Signori Oakley. Jessica Sanchez. Daniel Borakov. Angelina Ochier.
Heather Choi. Kristen McDonald. Caitlin Daddy. Jessica Murto. David Fisher. Lauren Presser. Christopher Tong. Keith Colazzo. Barbara Ann Napolitano. Tiffany A. Jacobson. Megan Sweeney. Corey Simpson. Kimberly Parasi. Patrick Schreiner. John Manzo. Arela Ayala. Dominique Soldado. Jessica Barkey. Laura Melly. Joseph Romano. Jonathan Schwartz.
Emily Riehe. Monica Yorio. Kimberly Duffy. Samantha Noel Garcia. Jace Ross. Gianna Doro. Jordan Jones Brewster. Chantel Wilson. Tamika Lumsden. Morgan Allen. Kiana Gardner.
Olalade Shonde. Alicia T. Hayes. Giovanna Natoli. Kyle Paraconi. Danielle Cirillo. Kinley Sage O'Connor. Frank Barry. Brittany Morales. Jessica Vargas. Natalie Clark. Alicia Plaskett. Natalie Solias. Sean Murrell. Brianna Williams. Charnay Moore. Faith Goldstein.
Mafalulo Waso Soniragan. Rebecca Ramunius. Kelly McGrew. Stephanie Munoz. Omar White. Emily Tifa. Vincent Muli Tua. Joseph Lutta Bicchio. Christian Fun Sile. Jeffrey Evan Rizia. Divan Sandhu. Alexis Leahy. Kaylee Howe. Nikki Detko. Jessica Perez. Melissa Farfon.
Skylar Shapiro. Cecilia Levine. Cecilia Jacqueline Morrell. Brooke St. Pierre. Dogus Akay. Georgina Golding. Christina Ann Furman. Amanda Lauren Muccioli. Yanira Villeman. Maria Munkuksi. Nakisla Gordon. Patricia Angelina Candria. Mobeen Zora. Bogeshri Bharat Kanani.
Alfredo Du Malson. Ellen Hawkinson. Francis Castillo. Lauren Elizabeth Arno. Victoria Hernandez. Jovan Smith. Shadia Bullock. Jaden Johnson. Hector Diaz. Selena Vasquez. Alicia Laura. Joseph Ratiano. Christopher Padovani.
Madison Elizabeth Lee. Samantha Ann Moreno. Yanis Lady Martinez. Abby Boga. Alicia Thompson. Amantha Sherry. Aisha Seymour. Jonathan Mercedes. Carlos Ruano. Abraham Alvey. Patricia Gordon. Janet Guy. Catherine Fishberg. Raquel Telivier. Samantha Rivera. Marielle Ilajowski. Andrew Linthwaite.
Derek Kadi Mion. Adam James. James Ward. Daniel Thomas Walks. Samuel Brown. Kira Kaudros. Dana Meherolisa. Christine Vega. Tyrell Green.
Jonathan Trosa. Timothy Casella. Joshua Richard Malianu. Taylor Vogt. Alexandra Baker. Peggy Caraccio. Connor Costello. Christina Witter. Gregory Edwards. Richard Giordano. Ariana Donulli. Lauren Fabali. Paloma Martinez. Amanda Mundorf. Jorge Gallagu. Raven Rafiq.
Vila Vencio. Amanda Justine Valencio. Judy Vanessa Acosta. Mark David Rivera. Alan David Rivera. Christy Marie Weiscarver. Kay Lanza. Rebecca Lynn Bloom. Mark Damon. Nicholas Castellano. Trayvon Frazier. Jordan Anderson.
Dom Ajay. Ryan Ali. Connor Strong. Andrea Bugajevich. Christine Marie Kramlich. Jason Contreras. Raymond Guilano. James Pajura. Amanda Mercado. Jennifer Augusta. Angelica Rehaniatas. Justina Krasnicki. Jacqueline Panera. Yasmin Simreen. Christina Rakiza.
Dara Britt Budadin. Arami Elise Santabrina. Megan McMahon. Joshun Dawson. Dunki Kun Diza. Samantha Herden. Lisa Meda Ula. Tyler Duncan. Julissa Amparo. Erica Torres. Diavante James.
Quadri Harris. Isamar Prion. Chrysalis De Jesus. Martha Rodriguez. Ariel Hicks. Mary Alice Shulo. Thomas Gilmore. William Shosha. Martin Carl Schnellenbach. Vanessa Monroe Paganelli. Brenna Lee Crow. Jennifer Pagano. Gina Danello. Patricia Etrie. Kaylee Kowalik.
Fayong Jen Dang. Gabrielle Salvatego. Angelica Siswanto. Latifa Huladay. Michael Duvela. Alessandra Constance Scalia. Brandon George. Stephanie Vargas. Michael Freedom.
To present the academic award for his school and to introduce the candidates for graduation, I invite Dean Neil Braun, Dean of the Lubin School of Business.
Hello, Lubin. The Scholastic Achievement Award is presented to the student excelling in scholarship, effectiveness in class discussion, research, and general performance in a baccalaureate degree program. The award goes to Jenna Sircone. Will the faculty please rise in presenting the degree candidates from the Lubin School of Business? Serving as readers will be Bruce Backenheimer, Professor of Management, Dr. Richard Krause, Department Chair and Professor of Legal Studies and Taxation, Dr. Teresa Lant, Professor of Management, and Dr. Barbara Farrell, Professor of Accounting. Will all the degree candidates proceed to the stage to be introduced individually?
Just tap me on the shoulder. Okay, good. Yes, Mary Jo.
Mario Alviar, Jonathan Caye, Michael Morrison, Rachel Robinson, Jenna Cersoni, Siaka Sean Chase Sims, Caitlin Hackett, Gabrielle Moss, Tony Ann Derby, Corlia Bourne, Michael Acalino, Rachel Acalino, Lana Bookbinder, Jacqueline Francis, let it go soon. Alex Hamilton. I can't. Sean Marr. Samuel DeRosia.
Amanda Rendani. Amanda Wong. Antonella Aceto. Jay McCall Martoli. Pavel Brutman. Alexander Dragomir. Corley Groschler. Tanya Liel. Catherine Borden. Brian Sullivan. Nina Verghese. Jessica Ferreira. Jeffrey Guillen. Megan Burke. Michael Daniel Calasuono. Eduardo Cruz. Daniel Perez. Maria Cuchurulo. Victor Ivazaj. Michael Stallone. Jonathan Lobo. Lorenzo Mitil.
Anthony Fanella. Tyler McHugh. Dylan Clark. John Tripodi. Michael Rubano. Leonardo Martino. Aneta Swayek. Lauren George. Melissa Castro. Nicole Ellen Telepun. Ryan Charles Valdez. Mark Olette. Matthew Gebhard. Thomas Galvin. Timothy Izzo. Lisa Nordofis. Marissa Popolo. Nicole Rivera. Andrea Mayajorga. Travis Johnson. Kimberly Karstad. Catherine Germain. Cindy Delgado Osorio. Michelle Chalco. Kayla Roche. Reza Zorufi, Ahmed Williams George, Daniel Primos Devonish, Jamal James,
Christopher Frank. Crystal Alexandria Adams. Sherian James. Winifred Tyson. Vito Delberti. James Schwartz. Johnny Furville. David Pepe. Joseph Puglisi. Megan Murphy. Amanda Capaccio. Michael Matesson. Christopher Eugene Dean Stewart. Joel Sullivan. Stephen Druin. Sebastian Villiani. Nicholas Brodeur. Julia DeChico. Nick Spano.
John Calvin Smith. Brittany Varantani. Arvin Rai. Matthew Zachary McCann. John Neto. David C. Hoff III. Rebecca Hain. Gabriela Velez. Alex Villone. Jesse Tarantino. Gabriella Hunter. Elena Ramos. Michael Ruiz. Diego Chalco. Jamie Jovino Sanchez. Jackie Camilson. Alexander Kane. Salvatore Pachito. Nick Kalai. Ryan Moran. Connor Elliott.
Nicholas Turk. Cody Varela. Karina Pedraza. Catherine Furchi. Dana Weingartner. Brian Song. Jonathan Bays. Christopher Jabor. Nicholas Greco. Seju Korean. Rashawn Demerit. Tatiani Thompson. Jana Cater. Linda Junkaj. Beatriz Mendez Caruba. Alex Ruff. Matthew French. Alyssa DeMaio. Christina McGuire. Allison Wu. Allison Wu.
Sungji Clark, Amina Ahmed, Hannah Cherian, Arjun Singh, Jonathan Rivera, Valerie Selka, Marissa Perpopaj, Danielle Menino, Anthony Shkelly, Kulsum Hassan, Pamela Kesner, Shelby Julian Timmons, Cynthia Reese, Kelsey Laro, Melanie Urban, Marissa DeFiglio, Michelle Montemarano, Michelle Lamella, Ryan Durgobasad, Nicole Lamando,
Ashley Spahn, Jesse Lavero, Danielle Victoria Daly, Jonathan DeBarry, Anthony Salvatore Passamareri, Jared Richards, Shane Morris, scroll to be presented by his father, Dr. Walter Morris.
So you have the scrolls. To make it all official, I invite the Board of Trustees Chairman Mark Beska to return to the podium for the conferral of degrees.
So the moment you've all been waiting for, and frankly, my favorite part of the job. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of New York, and with the concurrence of the Pace University Board of Trustees, I confer upon each one of you, as approved by the faculty of your college or school, the appropriate degree and course with all the rights and responsibilities thereunto. To symbolize the receipt of your degree, move your tassels with me from right to left. Congratulations.
Please take your seats. Please take your seats. As we approach the conclusion of these ceremonies, I'd like to welcome a special guest who is in attendance today and has graciously agreed to give a few concluding remarks. Please join me in welcoming the senior United States Senator from New York, Senator Chuck Schumer.
First of all, let me be the first to congratulate you now as graduates to PACE 2014. Second, I'd like to thank President Friedman and all the faculty, staff, and those who work here who have made PACE one of the finest institutions of higher learning in our entire state. Job well done. Third, I'd like to announce my class gift. This is important. We try to help people. Paying for college is hard. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out. But what about the middle class? So, a few years ago, I wrote a law that said you or your parents, whoever paid, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes for every year of college, provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So for those who make below $200,000, make sure you take the deduction. What happens if you come from a family who makes above $200,000? God bless you. Now, you've sat here a long time. I have a nice speech that I usually give here, but because of scheduling, I couldn't get here to the end. I've learned over 40 years in politics that when you've received your degrees, you don't want to hear another speech. Congratulations to the class of 2014.
Thank you, Senator Schumer. At this time, please remain standing. Stacy Amber Wells will now lead us in the Pace University alma mater, whose words can be found on the last page of your program. Please stand and join in singing the alma mater.
Alma mater, hearts and voices, sing to thee our everlasting praise. Each and every heart rejoices at the thought of happy days. Pace, oh pace, we'll never forget you, nor the friends we hold so dear. Memories will linger ever and will brighten coming years.
Congratulations and best wishes to the class of 2014. Please remain in your seats until the platform party has recessed. Grand Marshal Dr. Marie Londrigan and the members of the pipe band, please lead the platform party off the stage as we conclude this happy ceremony. Thank you all for coming.
like a room